In this video, we are going to learn about the access modifiers in Apex and what each access modifier means, like what kind of scope or the access a particular access modifier opens for a class, variables, or method. So in general, Apex has four type of Apex modifiers. The first one is private, the second is protected, the third one is public, and the fourth one is global, where the private being the most restrictive access modifier and global is the most open access modifier. So let's talk about each of these access modifiers in detail. First, we are going to talk about the private access modifier, which is the default modifier. So this means if you do not define any kind of access modifier, then private is being considered as your default modifier. The private access modifier is only available to variables or functions or inner classes. If your class is a topmost container, the way we declared our Hello World class in the previous video, it cannot be private. It can either be public or global. But all the members within that class, like the variables, functions, or if a class also has inner class in it, then you can use the private keyword. And the usage of this private access modifier is it restricts the access of that variable or the method or the class to the outermost class itself. You cannot use these variables or methods or inner classes outside your topmost class. So these methods and variables cannot be accessed outside your parent class. And if you do not define the access modifier, then by default modifier is private. So one last thing that we need to remember about a private access modifier is all the methods or variables with private access modifier cannot be accessed by the inner classes as well. So even though your inner class belongs to the same outermost class, it cannot access your private members. Now let's talk about our second access modifier, which is protected. And if you define your variables or methods as protected, then your inner Apex classes and your outermost Apex class can access these variables or methods. So protected is somewhat less restrictive than private, as your inner classes can access your methods and variables. And not only your inner classes, even the other Apex classes which extend your outermost Apex class can also access these variables or methods. Again, the protected access modifier is not available for the outermost Apex classes. Your outermost Apex classes can either be public or global. And with that, let's talk about our next modifier, which is public. Now, when you define a public access modifier, this means your particular Apex class with the public access modifier or the variables or methods with the public access modifiers are available to use within all the Apex classes in the same namespace. So in general, what it means is all the code that you are going to write or your fellow colleagues and developers are going to write can access these Apex classes and methods and variables with public access modifier. But if you install a outer package with a different namespace, so like the way you install different application in your iPhone device or in your Android device, you can also install these applications in your Salesforce org. And these applications, if they have a different namespace, cannot access your classes or the methods or variables with public access modifier. If you want to open the access to everyone, like in your namespace and in other namespaces as well, then you need to use the global access modifier. And when you use this global access modifier, this means your Apex classes, variables, or methods will be accessible to everyone, even outside your namespace as well. And we are going to see the uses of each access modifier in our coming sessions while we will be developing some of our code. And then you will get a better understanding of when to use private, when to use public, and when to use global. So always remember, private is the most restrictive access modifier, where global is the most open access modifier in Apex. And in between, we have protected and public as well. You will see the usage of protected is very less when it comes to the Apex world, but the private, public, and global are used very frequently when you will start writing your Apex code. So this is all in this video. In the next video, we'll be learning about functions.